Hiccup's relationship with Toothless propelled the Vikings of Berk from living in fear of dragons to training and living alongside them in harmony. But what if his first encounter with the dragon ended in tragedy instead of friendship? In this video, we'll take a look at what would happen if Hiccup actually killed Toothless during their first meeting in the forest, forever changing the course of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. As dark as it may sound, it's not too hard to imagine how this might happen. Picture this. After shooting down the Night Fury with his bola launcher, Hiccup tracks down the dragon through the forest just like in the original timeline, but when he finds Toothless tangled and helpless, fear takes over him and the entries in the dragon manual start ringing in his head. This is the legendary unholy offspring of lightning and death itself. It's been drilled into Hiccup's soul that these things need to be killed on sight. His survival instincts kick in, and in a moment of panic, Hiccup drives his knife deep into the Night Fury's heart, ending Toothless's life before their bond can even begin. Despite his actions, Hiccup's personality is no different, and the weight of his actions hits him immediately. As he looks into the Night Fury's lifeless eyes, Hiccup feels no triumph, only hollow regret and the crushing realization that he may have just killed a sentient, intelligent being. Hiccup returns to Berk with proof of his kill, finally earning his father's approval and the respect of his peers, yet the victory feels empty, and the image of Toothless lying helpless and almost begging for mercy in his final moments haunts Hiccup, driving him to question everything he's been taught about dragons. This guilt opens Hiccup's mind to the possibility that Vikings and dragons have been wrong about each other all along, and leads the young Viking to act. Desperate to make amends for taking Toothless's life, Hiccup tries to save the dragons that arrive at Berk, releasing captive dragons at the dead of night and sabotaging weapons during raids. No one suspects the new hero of Berk, but as time passes, the dragons sense that Hiccup is not like the others. They begin responding to him during dragon training, and Gobber notices that the boy has a way with the dragons. Instead of traditional weapon training, Hiccup begins experimenting with hideous zibbleback gas and monstrous nightmare gel to create tools that distract and calm down dragons. He discovers the effects of dragon nip during one raid, and the dragon's fear of eels during another. Hiccup's newfound understanding of dragon behavior makes him excel in training, and he becomes the perfect dragon fighter even though his heart isn't in the killing. During the final exam against the monstrous nightmare, Hiccup makes a choice that changes everything. Instead of fighting, he drops his weapons and attempts to calm the dragon using techniques he's developed through observation rather than bond. Stoic doesn't try to intervene in this timeline, as Hiccup has proved his worth by killing the Night Fury, leading the chief to believe his son has a trick up his sleeve. Hiccup's gamble works, and the monstrous nightmare responds to his non-threatening approach, proving to the entire village that dragons can be reasoned with. With his status as the most powerful Viking of the new generation, Hiccup gains approval to attempt taming the dragons. While his fellow dragon riders choose the same dragons as they did in the original timeline, Hiccup trains a Singe-tail named Scorch as one of the few dragons that comes close to the Night Fury's speed and firepower. This brings us to the final battle against the Red Death. Without the Night Fury's plasma blasts, beating the dragon becomes far more difficult. Instead of aerial combat, Hiccup leads a ground-based assault and rallies the village dragons to turn against their former queen. Hiccup's tactical genius and the dragon's newfound loyalty prove enough to bring down the Red Death as they trip up the massive dragon and beat it down with raw firepower. 5 years later, as Hiccup had grown into his role as a dragon trainer and peacekeeper, the cruel, twisted warlord Drago Bloodfist emerges once again. In this timeline, Hiccup's relationship with dragons is fundamentally different. He doesn't have a soul-bonded Night Fury companion. Instead, Hiccup has developed partnerships with multiple dragons, each relationship built on mutual respect rather than the deep spiritual connection he shared with Toothless. Just like in the original timeline, Hiccup will stumble upon the dragon sanctuary and learn that Valka is alive. While Valka is proud of what her son has achieved, the guilt of killing the Night Fury all those years ago still weighs heavily on Hiccup's shoulders. Without Toothless to challenge the Bewilderbeast's control, the battle takes a completely different direction, as no one is powerful enough to make a stand against Drago. He kills Stoic and Valka's Bewilderbeast, while also seizing all of Berk's dragons. Hiccup and the Dragon Riders are able to escape on baby dragons, but they have no real way to fight back. At first, Hiccup plans to assassinate Drago and avenge his father's death, but Valka and Astrid manage to hold back the darkness from corrupting Hiccup's heart. Realizing that his only weapon right now is his wits, Hiccup offers himself to Drago and offers to join his ranks as a lieutenant. Drago realizes that Hiccup's talent with dragons would make him a valuable asset in his quest for world domination, and decides to give the young Viking a chance. After all, who could hurt the man who controls the Alpha? At first, Hiccup's only goal is damage control, trying to minimize the cruelty and suffering inflicted by Drago, and despite Drago's brutality, Hiccup actually succeeds and manages to end battles with minimal bloodshed, earning him respect among the dragon trappers and the conquered Vikings. And this was his goal all along, to incite a rebellion from within. But winning over Vikings alone would have been meaningless. Hiccup's real plan was to turn the Bewilderbeast against Drago. Think about it. To Drago, the Bewilderbeast was nothing more than a tool, and the brutal warlord only ever degraded and commanded it. The Bewilderbeast never knew kindness or respect, but seeing how Hiccup treated the other dragons made it realize that it didn't need to bend to Drago's will. Over many months, Hiccup breaks Drago's conditioning, and when the time is right, he overthrows the warlord in a battle where not a single weapon is raised. But this battle does end with one casualty: Drago himself. Releasing years of pent-up trauma, the Bewilderbeast freezes Drago solid, putting an end to the warlord's life and reign of terror. Years later, as Hiccup leads Berk into a new age of dragon-human coexistence, his only major battle is with the warlords of the Northern Alliance led by Ragnar the Rock. But we already know that these guys are small fries compared to Drago, and the Dragon Riders engage them in a war of attrition, slowly strangling their poaching operations. During this time, Grimmel the Grizzly emerges as a ruthless, devious, and cunning dragon hunter who believes in the extermination of all dragons. Now, even though Ragnar still asks Grimmel to stop the Dragon Riders, he doesn't really concern himself with Berk because Toothless is already dead. In fact, Grimmel actually respects Hiccup as the only other Viking in the world to kill a Night Fury. That too, with just a bola launcher and a knife when he was still a child. Grimmel actually decides to meet Hiccup since they will eventually be adversaries, and shows off his forces along with his mind-controlled death grippers. The Riders of Berk wanted to fight Grimmel then and there, but they knew the casualties would be too high. The Dragon Hunter bragged about how he killed Night Furies by attracting them with his rare and beautiful female Light Fury. Hearing about the Light Fury flipped a switch inside Hiccup. He made the mistake of killing Toothless and had been seeking redemption ever since. Would rescuing the Light Fury finally ease the burden of the guilt he had been carrying all these years? While Hiccup weighs this goal in his mind, he also realizes that there are many others like Grimmel out there, and that Dragon Riders can't possibly stop all of them. Hiccup realizes that if dragons are to survive extermination, they need a sanctuary beyond human reach. The only solution he could think of was a tale Stoic told him long ago of a place out there beyond the sunset, marked by a great waterfall and dragons guarding the entrance to a hidden world. While Hiccup leads the charge to rescue the Light Fury from Grimmel's clutches, he deploys a fleet of Berkians led by Astrid and Vulca to seek the hidden world. The final confrontation with Grimmel becomes intensely personal. Hiccup manages to enlist the help of the Alpha Bewilderbeast, but Grimmel relies on holding dragons hostage to level the playing field. As if to mock Hiccup's vain rescue attempts, Grimmel rides the Light Fury into battle, taunting and challenging Hiccup to do his worst. The battle is won not through aerial combat, but through the very thing Grimmel can't understand: trust. As the Death Gripper's venom wears off, dragons who could escape choose to fight alongside Hiccup, proving that the bonds he's built through respect are stronger than the fear of Grimmel's wields. In his final moments, as Grimmel falls to his defeat, he snarls at Hiccup, "You're just like me, a dragon killer." But Hiccup's response carries the weight of years of growth. "No, you kill because of hate. I killed because I was afraid. The difference is what we choose to do next." As the dragons prepare to leave for the hidden world, Hiccup faces the hardest goodbye of all. Unlike the original timeline where he's parting from his best friend, here he's saying farewell to the dragons he's spent years learning to understand. Standing at the edge of the hidden world, Hiccup reflects on the journey that began with a single, terrible mistake. The guilt over killing Toothless never fully leaves him, but now Hiccup understands the responsibility that comes with power. In this timeline, Hiccup doesn't just become a dragon master, he becomes a living example of redemption, proving to the Vikings that even the worst mistakes can be a trigger for greatness. The final scene shows an elderly Hiccup telling his children the story of the dragons. As he speaks, the familiar silhouette of a Light Fury flashes across the night sky, perhaps a descendant of the one he rescued many decades ago. So what do you think of this timeline? Is it better than the original? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for more incredible content from the world of dragons.